What is up, everybody? Kevin Iole here. I am joined. Man, I'll tell you what, this is one of my favorite weeks because two of my favorite fighters to interview I got this week. Kamaru Usman I did this morning, and he is fighting in a really tough fight. Usman is facing Joaquin Buckley, number 5 versus number 7. Although number 7 is a pretty substantial favorite this time at DraftKings, minus 265, plus 215 for Joaquin Buckley. Joaquin joins me right now. What's up, Buck? How are you?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? You said I'm the plus,
You were the
or is
minus,
that
so you're
who's?
the favorite.
I'm the minus. I'm the favorite. Oh,
Yep.
okay. I'm about to say, come get this good money. Never mind.
And I
Never
want to
mind.
just tell
But
you this.
regardless, though, it's still good, man, to see where the betting odd is. Because it seems like people are starting to get what I'm able to do, right, and understand that I'm definitely a future world champion in the building.
This morning when I spoke to Kamaru this morning, it was minus 255, and now it's minus 265, which means most of the bets have been on you, and the line has gone up. It's gotten bigger, so the bettors are seeing something.
Yeah, no, they seeing something, man. So yet again, man, I'm just so glad to be able to go out there, man, and show up.
I think you would probably agree with this, but I'll get your take on it. I think Kamaru is right up there with GSP as one of the greatest, if not the greatest welterweight that has ever competed. How do you get past him? I mean, he's a guy that's got a great diverse game. I know, he's lost a couple fights, but you look at who he lost to, 2 to the champion and then 1 to a guy fighting for the middleweight championship, right? So it's not like he's been getting beat by bums. How do you get past him? Like, what do you think your advantage in this fight is?
I believe my advantage is almost everywhere. Just with my movement alone, my power, my stamina, and also mentality wise, right? There's not a lot of guys that kind of beat Usman mentally. And he always the most driven guy when he steps out there. Even when you see him losing those 3 fights, right? He's always I don't know. He always got this flair about himself where he always has this natural belief. But I really feel like I can take that away from him once we fight. And I think that's going to be the main difference between us two is who's going to be able to pretty much dominate each other's will or oppose each other's will. Sorry.
I think since you last fought your win over December over Colby Covington, things have really changed in the division. Of course, we have a new champion. Jack Della Maddalena won the championship, and I thought a great performance, over Bilal Muhammad. Sean Brady stepped up with a dominant win over Leon Edwards. Now Islam Makhachev in the division, the pound for pound king is in there. Usman is looking to come back. I mean, this division is freaking stacked. Does that add more pressure? Like now that you know how close it is and how tough it is, you got to perform like it at an even higher level to maybe get where you want to go.
I mean, I wouldn't call it pressure, but I think I'm privileged to be in a weight class like this that is showing up and showing out every single time. So that means you can't rest, right? You can't like kind of go off your last performance and be like, okay, that's good enough. Every single one of us, whether you talking about myself, whether you talk about Usman, whether you talk about JDM now, who is the world champion, right? Sean Brady, who is now the #1 contender, after beating Leon. Every performance has to speak for itself, and it kind of makes you always want to level up every time you watch, every time we see each other fight. So I'm so privileged to be in this weight class because it's just forcing me to be a better fighter every single time.
One of the things I see in you is just like that confidence, right? Like, you were always a talented guy and always a good fighter, but maybe did you believe that you were a great fighter, right? And then, now I know you ooze belief, right? Buckley's like, I'm the man right now. And is it fair to say that you weren't always as confident as you are today?
I mean, if anything, I was more arrogant, right? And not in a bad way. Or let's say another word, delusional, right? Because at 185, I still thought I was great. I was still confident in myself, but I was delusional because I wasn't putting the type of work in to make myself great, right? And that's why you see me, 5-4 at the middleweight division. But it wasn't until I moved to 170, right, where I had to be more disciplined. I had to have more commitment. I had to be obedient to the game. Where I had to switch within my career, right? Where now I'm undefeated. Where now, I'm on a 6-fight winning streak, and not only just on a 6-fight winning streak, but I'm knocking out every ranked opponent that I'm going up
Yeah.
against, right? So it's not just me saying it anymore. I'm proving it, right? So now I really want my performance to speak, highly of itself, right? Even though I'm
Right.
gonna talk that talk as well, but it's really going out there and showing people what we can do. Because I
You,
can show you better than I can tell you every single time.
you know why I'm always talking to you every fight, because you do talk that talk, and I love it. And then you go in the cage.
Yeah,
But let's talk about your last fight, because I want to get your take on the win over Colby Covington, right? Because Colby, obviously, with that wrestling, is a grinder and everything. But to me, sometimes guys, when they fight Colby Covington, the one thing that they don't kind of get is how difficult, it is maybe mentally, because he with all that trash talk and all that kind of mental pressure he puts on guys, sometimes guys break just from the heat. And
right.
I thought, really, to me, that was a performance of a lifetime against him, and you raised your game significantly. Obviously, it did not bug you, but do you feel like that's a difference between you now and maybe earlier, that that you're able to deal with all the kind of craziness that goes on in this sport?
I mean, I love it. It's a part of the game. The only thing that you said that is messed up about that, Kobe didn't give me any of that type of energy, right? He wasn't trash talking. It wasn't no back and forth, right? It was just a guy that showed up for a fight. And and my biggest thing is I'm still trying to build this name. I don't have this name yet, right? But
Right.
these guys have already built this name, and I feel like I need their help in order to get in that position. And obviously, right, it's one thing to fight me and then step into the octagon, but it's the buildup of the fight that's everything. So even with Kamaru Usman, right, not giving me much, because we just had a face off, which was pretty cool. But me trying to interact with him, he wasn't giving me nothing, right? But it just is what it is. I just got to take it for what it is, and just realize, at this time and at this moment, I'm in control of all things. So I got to rely on myself to promote this fight, right? So that's why we came out to Atlanta, 3 weeks earlier, to be, pretty much be around the fans, be around the people, be around the culture, and then as well, not only that, I got an open workout that's on Thursday,
Oh,
leading up
you
into the
are?
fight before my weigh-ins. That's on Thursday, right? You name one fighter that's doing that, Kev. Name one fighter, not one, right? So I'm doing different things, and I'm putting myself in a position that's really trying to not only help myself but put the UFC on, right, and try to build this promotion up.
I notice the difference on your social media over the last couple fights, right? Too, like you've taken your social media, you're popping on, doing lives with the fans and all that, and
Yeah.
that'll probably pay off for you somewhere down the road when there's a lot more zeros on the check than there are now.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because don't get it twisted. The fans is what gets us paid, right? The more people that watch, the more people that pay in. I truly believe that the UFC looks at that and they reward us for those things. So I just know I got to do my part, right? There's going to be a minute before people really kind of understand like what I'm doing and like I guess the success that I can have with it. But if you're not seeing the success that I'm getting right now, right, you just foolish. So let me just keep doing what I'm doing, and then before you know it, I'm gonna be the biggest name in the UFC before y'all know it. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and every single time, man, I feel like it's gonna speak for itself.
This dude, if you don't know, is like a security guard at Walmart. He is the American dream, right? He went out there. He was working at Walmart full time, and he's fighting professionally in the
Walgreens,
UFC full time.
Walgreens. I did work at Walmart,
Walgreens.
but
I'm sorry. What?
Walgreens was I know you're
The
right. You're
drugstore. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, like I know that story. Nobody could have been, pickpocketing off the shelves in that store with you walking around doing security. Like
No, no,
they don't want
100.
to,
But I
they
ain't
don't
gonna
want to
lie
have
to you.
Joaquin Buckley.
No, right. Well, unfortunately, with Walgreens policy, I would have to help them, right? Still, like, hey, anything else that y'all need? You know what I'm saying? What else y'all want? Y'all want some Dove? Huh? Want some
Did you ever remember
laundry
the
detergent?
girl? Do you
Got you.
remember the girl? Remember the girl Dana hired, Joaquin, when she was
Yeah,
in Best Buy, and she had wrestled somebody to the ground. She got fired. Dana hired
yeah.
her.
No, and
So
she's still hired. Yeah, she's still with us. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, that was
Uh
awesome.
huh.
Let's try. I want to get your thoughts. I know you've made some comments about Makhachev coming up. He's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. Has been on an unbelievable heater too, right? You don't think he belongs there at this point yet? He's going to fight Jack Della Maddalena at some point later this year for the championship. What's your take, and why do you object to Makhachev coming up and getting the title shot right away?
I just truly believe you got to prove that you can fight at 170 first. That's it. Uh, he's done everything that he can do at lightweight at 155, and you know he has more title defenses than his brother Habib. So I'm sure that with him moving up, it looks very intriguing, right? Because he done everything that he can do at lightweight. But in my personal opinion, it's just you got to prove that you can even, you know, put on great performances and put on great fights at 170. So, in my personal opinion, I feel like he got to fight at least a number one contender or just a big name at 170 and then be able to get that belt. But yet again, this is all business. You know, I can't be mad. My
Right.
man got like 10 million followers. My man got a whole nation behind him, right?
Yep.
Like my man's doing this for legacy. And once he does this, and once he's able to submit his name as a two division champion, right? What you tell me, Kevin? What's the next thing finna do? Retain the title, defend
Yeah.
it. Nah, he ain't finna do that. He not finna do that. He gonna retire and he gonna have his happily ever story.
Well,
But I
let's
feel
talk
like
about what he said.
I know I can end that though, right? I know I can change that story real quick.
When I talk to him, I'm going to specifically tell him he should fight you. But after, assuming he beats Jack, that's no slam dunk that he beats Jack.
Right, first off, right?
But having said that, I want to get your take on what he said actually did say about that, because after he won, he defended his title against Moicano, Money Moicano at UFC 311. He was asked about moving up to 170, and he said he not only wants to go to 170 and win the title, he wants to go to 185 and win the title. You have fought at 185. You know how hard it is. You've seen Islam Makhachev fight. What is your take on that? That going to 185 and fighting?
You better find the right matchup. That's it. Like that is just the God honest truth. You better find the right matchup. Everything is easier said than done, right? So let's see what you do at the 170 division first, before you think about just moving up to 185. But yet again, I don't even see that being a thing for him. If he goes up to 170 and he beats JDM, I think that's the last time we see Islam.
So let's finish with this. If you beat Usman, obviously you're going to be in the top five at that point, which puts you no worse than one win away, I would think, from fighting for the championship. What's the rest of the year? If you had, how do you map out the rest of the year? Assuming you beat Kamaru on Saturday.
You know, I really can't look no further than June 14th with Kamaru Usman. My biggest thing that I can only think about is how do I put on the best performance of my life, and how can I prove to the world that I should be next to fight for a world title. So, you know, the only person that's on my mind right now is Kamaru Usman, man, and going out there and putting his lights out. So, you know, that right there is the only thing that I'm thinking about.
That is one of my favorites to interview. Always is.
All right,
Joaquin
man.
Buckley, the favorite, number 7, Joaquin Buckley, the
The
favorite over
favorite.
the
That's
former
crazy.
champion Kamaru Usman. Good luck on Saturday,
Yeah.
brother. Good to talk to you
All
again.
right. All right, man.
See you soon.
Thank you, brother.
Bye.
Thank you.